There's a couple ways to actually get involved in assisted living that doesn't actually involve you guys actually working the operation of the business. So I'm actually going to run through that, and maybe this will be something that actually catches your attention and catches your eye, and it may be something that you guys may be interested in doing. So go ahead and stick around to the end of the video. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. To all my new viewers, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, guys, thank you so much for all the support, for all the comments down below, for the likes. And to my new viewers, guys, I've actually created a Facebook group, and if you guys want to go join it, it's called Legion Assisted Living Academy. I will link it down below for you guys to actually go join it. So make sure you guys go request yourselves. Make sure to answer the 3 questions before sending the request, and then I will go ahead and add you guys into the group. So without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss how you guys can actually get into assisted living without actually having to be part of the operations. The first option is actually being a passive investor in both the real estate and the operation of the assisted living facility itself. Now, if you guys are going to go down the passive investor option, you guys want to make sure that you guys come to terms with the owner who's going to be operating the business, and also how you're going to set up the real estate aspect of the entire process. So you want to keep both separate. If you are going to just purchase the real estate and lease it to the operator of the business or the residential assisted living owner and operator, then you want to make sure that that's a separate entity. And if you're funding the operation itself, make sure that you guys set it up to where you are funding that separately. So that is the first option that you guys can really do, is that you just fund both, right? You purchase the real estate and then you purchase also the operations. And so it's very critical that you get people set up properly. If you get the real estate set up, you want to make sure that you get an actual operator under the operation aspect. And that's just a good way to actually just be completely hands off, meaning you really don't worry about the real estate, you really don't worry about the business, and you're just making passive income from the money that you've invested with the terms that you've come to an agreement with the operator of the facility. So that's just a good way to actually get involved in assisted living, is by doing that. The second option is actually being the manager of the managers, meaning if you get a passive investor, they invest in the operations, they invest in the real estate, and then you, since you are the manager and have been managers in all of this, you guys are actually able to go on and manage other managers. So your role would strictly be to make sure that the business is flowing well, make sure that everything is going smoothly, and you are just overseeing all the operations. And you can do this on a large scale. You can do this on up to 6-7 homes if possible. There's really no limit to the way you do that, but you're not necessarily going to be in the business, and you're not required to really have a manager's license for assisted living homes. And therefore you guys are just more of a supervisor in this role, and you guys aren't really involved. You want to make sure that you are knowledgeable of the industry and you are knowledgeable of how everything works, so that way if your managers are doing a proper job and if the caregivers are doing their job, etc. So that is another way to get involved in assisted living without actually being involved in assisted living. That's just a way to make even more money, or even have a piece of a certain business, a percentage of a certain business. It's a really smart way to be able to acquire assets in that way for yourself. But I think you just first have to start out with being a manager of a home, owning one, maybe potentially expanding, and then kind of going into that role of being a supervisor and overall the head manager. Now, the third way is to just strictly purchase real estate, and you strictly just make sure that you rent out to other homeowners. And that's just not other homeowners, excuse that, to other people who are wanting to do assisted living. Like myself, I am leasing the property. So there are people who want to run these businesses, but they don't have the capital to purchase the properties, right? They don't have the down payment. They don't have the credit scores necessary for banks to fund them. And so they are willing to actually just lease the properties and just write them off at the end of the year as an an expense. And so therefore it's worth it for them to do it, and it also keeps their overhead somewhat lower, or their startup costs lower than going and purchasing a property outright, or even putting a big down payment. So that is another way. You just purchase the real estate and you're strictly a real estate investor. You remodel, get it zoned, etc., and you just lease it out to people who are wanting to do assisted living. And it's a really smart way to do it, because you mark up what the rent normally would be for a residential. You mark it up a couple $100s more, and you're cash flowing more, and it's more profitable than if you go the route of just doing a traditional long-term tenant, which if you do lease it out to other assisted living operators, they are willing to actually do 3 to 5 year leases, so they're more long-term, and therefore it's more beneficial for the landlord to go that route. And also the homes don't get beat up a lot with residential assisted living. The residents aren't like throwing parties and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and so they're not messing up the house cosmetically to where you have to come in and remodel. And so that is just another way to really get involved in assisted living without actually running an assisted living home. And then there's a couple more options that I can't think off the top of my head, but those are really the 3 best options that I can think of when it comes to being completely hands-off, because a lot of people ask, can you be completely hands-off? And if you're being that passive investor, like I mentioned, the first option that I mentioned, you can definitely be completely hands-off if you have enough money to fork out and invest in both the real estate and the operations, right? And you just strictly have a manager or someone managing the manager. You can be completely hands-off, and it does work beautifully like that if you get the right people in place and you are willing to fork out that amount of money. And so that's really the best things that I've come across in just the time frame that I've been doing all this. And it's something worth looking into if you're looking to just invest in real estate, or to invest in a very solid business plan like assisted living. And there's so many ways to structure it, and there's a lot of great CPAs out there and a lot of great attorneys that will help you set up all this, and it's something worth your time. I know I'm definitely going to look into all of this even more in depth and probably actually implement it down the road in one way or shape or form, but we'll see. I mean, I'm kind of right now focusing on expanding the business and focusing on my current business right now, and so I think I'll probably do all 3. I'll probably just manage all the managers at some point. I'll probably end up being that passive investor where I invest in just other people wanting to start assisted living and purchase the real estate, or I may just purchase the real estate and do what I just talked about. I'm still very young, and all those options are still there, and those opportunities are there. And so I suggest that you guys all look into that, and hopefully it's something that all of you guys can implement. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys leave them down in the comment section about how to go about this. And yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys. If you've stuck all the way to the end, make sure you hit that like button. Also, don't forget, guys, go join that Facebook group called Legion Assisted Living Academy on Facebook. And also, guys, make sure that you guys subscribe. I appreciate you all, and 50% of you guys aren't subscribing, so make sure you guys go subscribe. I'm going to talk about all kinds of things in the near future, and so I want you guys to all get notified. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well. So guys, thank you so much. Make sure to go watch all these other videos if you guys haven't. I have a great playlist for you guys on there with a ton of videos. I get questions about cover this topic, cover that topic, but in all honesty, I've probably already covered it. You guys just have to go find it in the playlist, and you guys will enjoy the playlist a lot and learn a lot from it. And I'm going to continue putting out these videos and adding them to the playlist for you guys to have whenever if you guys decide to start an assisted living down the road. The playlist will still be there, so you guys can actually just go and check out whatever videos to help guide you guys in the right direction. So guys, thank you so much. Again, I appreciate you all, and make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. And I will see you guys all in the next video. God bless. Peace.